Let's talk about Reasonable Doubt Season 3, Episode 4, titled Friend or Foe. All right, let's rate this episode. I gave it an 8 out of 10. There was some really shocking surprises that came out in this episode. Get into what happened this episode. We see Bill running up on his wife yet again with some flowers that he thinks are her favorite, and she says no. He says happy anniversary. She's like, sir, it was the day before. Poor Bill. I want to feel sorry for him, but then we realized that he is one of those people who is always focused on his career, was not being supportive to his wife, who is taking care of 3 kids, and she is an attorney as well. Lewis was really trying to help the young boy and hire this young black man as a coder at the company that he works for. He was really excited about having another black man in the office, and sometimes we always can't support us just because we have the same skin tone. So this boy has lied on his resume about what he is actually able to do, and it's causing Lewis a lot of problems. He is not coding correctly, and the clients are upset about it. But the diabolical thing about it is we've all maybe told a little white lie on our resume, but then he does Lewis dirty. When it comes up in front of the big boss, he says, well, Lewis said I had a little extra time to learn this. Or even lied about the non-compete clause after leaving his previous employer, which should have been an automatic dismissal. Since he threw in there that Lewis was trying to help him on the slide, it seems like it's going to save his job. But luckily, Lewis sucks it up and comes back later like, hey, you need to get this done by this date so that we have a legitimate reason to let you go that has nothing to do with the fact that I offered you extra training. Side note, I just have to shout out the actress that plays Jax. Is fine. The scene with her calling Lewis, Harry home before the daughter gets home, body tea. I just had to give her props. We're back to Ozzy. The plan is going to be to bring out the fact that he was sexually abused once they get to trial, not do it beforehand so it's not in the public, but use it as a way for the jurors to sympathize with him. No longer see him as a spoiled actor, but more as a troubled young man who was abused and turned to drugs and maybe being used by the people in his life to help sway the jury to think that he's not capable of taking the life of his girlfriend. So do you agree with this strategy? Do you think it's going to work? But before they want to bring it out in court, they're not going to do it in public, Jax bonds with Ozzy over the shared experience that she was groomed by her stepfather, how it feels to deal with your abuser, tell people what's going on and share that experience. She tells him you have to tell your parents first. He does tell his parents, and I do appreciate the fact that even though the father was pushing for him to say, well, who was it? Whoever wrote this scene really gave the parents a chance to be understanding and loving, be more concerned with their child than who the abuser was. That he did have the courage to finally tell them, and that they can deal with healing him from that first before dealing with the abuser. So, who did y'all think the abuser was? When he brought it up the first time, I always assumed that it was a family member. I thought maybe it was an older cousin, auntie. That was my mindset, or somebody in the business, because we know child actors in entertainment business, they are around a lot of adults and not always supervised by their parents. But then I was like, that don't make sense because their mother seems like she's always there paying attention. So who did you originally think his abuser was? Jax's daddy, Patrick. I knew he was going to work my nerves. He shows up out the blue to the house and introduces himself to Jax's kids after she had decided, she wasn't speaking to him regularly, but Jax and Lewis had decided that they didn't want him around their kids until he was more stable. I mean, he just showed back up. And Jax's mama, baby, they just play her. She just lets Patrick in. She really doesn't put her foot down in the fact that he has introduced himself to the kids, calling them young adults. They're in high school. This is something that their parents should tell them. But the kids are upset about finding out about the baby. Spencer has come home. Naima finds out the truth through Tony's daughter, of course. So they didn't have the time to tell them the way they wanted to. The kids are upset. They have a right to be. It's been like a year, and they had to find out from somebody else. So give them a little grace, a little leeway to have an attitude. But Jax's father, I guess, explained it to them in a way that they accepted it. They didn't show that scene, but Jax's mama never tells Jax, hey, your daddy showed up. Your kids know about him now. Her character irks my soul. I need for her to get a backbone. I need for her to speak up. I need for her to play a grandmama. That's not who she's playing. She's playing a babysitter with gray hair. Did a scene with Lewis rolling up on Patrick in some back alley with some friends and sitting on some milk carts. I don't know where that was. Maybe it was in the back of the club. And Lewis is pissed, like, hey, how dare you speak to my kids without me? We're going to give Patrick the win on this argument because he reads Lewis down. Honestly, the kids have spilled all the tea. I don't appreciate the kids spilling the tea either to this man that they don't know, but he does put Lewis in his place. You living in my daughter's house. You cheated on her, well, not cheated on her, but you had a child outside the marriage. You lied to your kids. Gives me a little bit more respect. Just because I'm a deadbeat addict, in this moment, I feel more righteous than you. So this argument, this round, we're going to give to Patrick, but I'm going to need for Lewis to come back and knock Patrick right back on down. Daniel finds out through the sister that he is really cozying up to, they seem to like each other, that Ozzy has journals. So he sneaks his way back into Ozzy's house while they're in court for jury selection, and the sister is out of town doing something, I don't know. But she tells him where the spare key is. He comes in, and we get the song of the episode, Annie Up, as he finds the journals, packs them up. I don't know how he's going to explain the journals later on, but I guess we'll take care of that later. Takes them back home and reads them, and we find out who the abuser is. It turns out to be Mercedes, aka Brandy Evans, aka his agent Monica, was the one who been abusing him since 13, and obviously it ain't never stopped because she's still coming there seducing him as a grown man. She's probably had so much free access to him over the years, there's no telling. It's obvious that he doesn't want to participate anymore, but he doesn't know how to say no. Plus, he probably is very much so finds Mercedes attractive. She's like, Ozzy, we ready for bed? And I'm sure it goes down again. She was not on my list of people at all. Like, at all. I missed that. But great episode. Shout out to Reasonable Doubt. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Deuces.